Live from Berman Stadium on the West Bank, it is the Allstate Sugar Bowl LHSAA Thursday night football game of the week for week number 10, courtesy of the LHSAA and Crescent City Sports. And tonight it's a District 10 4A matchup, a battle of Cougars, as Edna Karr plays host to Helen Cox. Hi again, everybody. Lenny Van Gilder along with Eric Held. Kate Adams will join us in a moment as we're getting set for week 10 of the high school season. Now let's start right there, Eric. Week 10. Playoffs start next week. Karr knows they're in. They are the three-time defending champions in Class 4A. Helen Cox probably needs to pull an upset this evening to reach the playoffs. What's going through the minds of coaches all across the state as you get ready for Selection Sunday, the version of the LHSAA's football bracket announcement, and then getting ready for the playoffs?
Yeah, you said it best. Week 10... Nothing more to say than Week 10 as a high school football coach or player or fan as you get closer to the end of the regular season. In Week 10, as you mentioned, the games are played Thursday, Friday. We have one on Saturday in the Catholic League, and then, as you mentioned, Selection Sunday coming up the next day. And your pairing show, Kate Adams will talk about that a little later. But as a coach, the anticipation of the end of the season, the sun going down earlier, you arrive at the stadium before pregame in the bus, and the sun's down, it's dark, the lights are on, nothing like it. The anticipation's been building as you get in from Week 8 to Week 9 to Week 10, not only for implications with district or with your regular season record, but also where you stand in the power rating. And as Fletch said in the movie Fletch, Erwin Fletcher, instead of it's all ball bearings these days, it's all power ratings these days.
There you go. How can I top that? We got a Fletch reference in the pregame. You take a team like Karr, and we're going to talk a lot about them tonight, but they have been here, been playing on the last weekend of the season 8 times out of 9 years this decade. 3-time defending champion in 4A. They know what it's about this time of year. I talked to Bryce Brown before the game. Said it's the final dress rehearsal to get ready. And by the way, as you're seeing right now, this is one of the great entrances in all of high school sports right here when Karr takes the field. And you see it. The band is giving you the soundtrack.
In sync with the band. That's great. All the choreographed movements by their players. A great entrance. Nothing like it in high school football in Louisiana. The Karr Cougar entrance attempting to make their 4th run at a state championship in Class 4A. And on the other side of the field, Helen Cox, it's kind of a season what might have been. In Week 2, their starting quarterback went down with a broken leg, had to replace him, lost their 3-star linebacker Raekwon Starks. Also lost a receiver along the way that was really good as well. So it's kind of a season what might have been. And then they lost their head coach in July in Skip Lamoth. And Coach David Davis Sr. has done a really good job keeping these guys together, keeping them enthused, getting them to play hard, and really being resilient. And he told me on the field before the game, we've got one bullet to fire, and we've got a great bullet. We feel like we're going to give them their best shot, and they're going to play their best guys on both sides of the football to give them the best chance to make a run and an upset at Karr tonight.
Captains meeting at the center of the field. We will get the coin toss here coming up. As mentioned, Karr in the year 6-2, 2-0 in district. Cox 2-7, 0-2 in district. Karr had a long winning streak. The longest, in fact, in all of Louisiana high school football. That was snapped in Week 1 on this very field by John Curtis, 42-39. They also lost in Week 4 to Catholic, 47-12. And that may be 2 of the 3 or 4 best teams in Louisiana. Helen Cox, give them credit. They have faced a brutal schedule. You go all the way back to scrimmaging Rummel back in mid-August, and then on through to now to facing arguably the most successful team in Louisiana high school football in the last decade, and that's Edna Karr. As The officials let us know that Karr has won the toss and will get the football. Let's bring in the third member of our team, Kate Adams. Kate?
Thanks, Lenny. Well, just to reiterate some of the things you said, first of all, welcome to the West Bank of New Orleans, where tonight's matchup is a battle of the Cougars. This District 10 4A matchup is a big one for both programs. Basically, for the 2-6 Helen Cox Cougars, they've got to get the win tonight if they want to even make it to the playoffs. And for the 7-2 Edna Karr Cougars, well, they're just looking for more momentum as they head into the playoffs, looking for their 4th consecutive state championship win. Back to you.
Let's pause for the playing of our national anthem by the Edna Karr Band. Our national anthem from Berman Stadium on the West Bank as we get set for the start of Week 10 of the Louisiana high school football season. Edna Karr and Helen Cox. Bryce Brown in his 5th year at Karr. Would you like to have this record, Eric? 58 wins and 8 losses. It's a Saban-esque kind of record there, huh?
Saban-esque is correct, and Ducks no one in the pre-district. That is for sure. Playing John Curtis, Catholic, arguably 2 of the 3 best teams in the state at any level. Also going on the road to Monroe to face Wassman in a big-time struggle against Wassman in Monroe. But as Coach Brown alluded to earlier this week, they play the best that they can in the pre-district to get them ready for the playoffs. Making that road trip to Monroe to play Wassman will help them in case they have to play Neville on the road down in week 3 or 4.
Underway here, a line drive kick to the far side and a big return coming up out near midfield, and that's where the Cougars will get this opening possession of the evening underway, and we'll get our first look at Leonard Kelly, the 5'11", 175-pound senior. Seems like he's been there for about 5 years, Eric, at quarterback. And, you know, that is the one thing you love to have is a veteran quarterback. If you could pick a spot on your roster that you could send a veteran guy out there, it's behind center, no question about it.
If you lose or graduate 10 starters from the year before and you get one back, you want it to be your quarterback. And Leonard brings them that calming presence. He has offers from Nichols and Northwestern State and should make a decision early.
Turn to the sideline, try to get a signal. Kelly, a 63% passer on the season, and we've got a false start. Karr's going to operate behind the chains to get this one started. Kelly, 1,959 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Douglas Daigle from the Greater New Orleans Officials Association, our referee. 2nd straight game of the week that Douglas wears the white hat.
And Douglas has been around a while, a veteran. Greater New Orleans Officials Association.
On first down, Kelly will put it down and go, and he will be met about a gain of 1 on the play. And a guy we're going to call his name a lot tonight, Keelan Burry, 5'11", 200-pound senior. He's a UTSA commit for guy who spent a lot of time here on the West Bank, and Frank Wilson, but he has an LSU offer and has been outstanding, probably the best defender on this Helen Cox team this season. Second down 14, tried to run that bubble screen there, the middle screen, and just off the fingertips of his attendant receiver, Destin Payson, another guy who's very talented and very highly recruited.
Keelan Burley, you mentioned, number 23 for the Cox Cougars, offered by LSU and Arkansas. Speaking of Arkansas, defensive back coach for the Razorbacks, Ron Cooper, on hand down on the sidelines, a former LSU secondary coach.
Head coach at Louisville at one point.
And is for Michigan as well.
Yep.
And I believe Alabama A&M.
Missed the penalty there, but it was a 15-yard mark off on Helen Cox. It's going to give Edna Karr first down at the 43-yard line of Helen Cox. Can't refer to these nicknames tonight too much. It's like doing an LSU Auburn game. You don't know who it is. The yellow-clad Cougars. This will be the first carry to Kevin Maroney, the junior running back. One thing you always know Edna Karr is going to have is some talented running backs. Maroney's kind of taken over that role this year in the lead back spot. 407 yards rushing, a 5.4 average, 5 rushing touchdowns on the year. Gets about 5 on first down. It's 2nd and 5.
5 yards on the play, 2nd down and 5.
Now Kelly. This is Aaron Anderson, the sophomore, makes one man miss, falls forward, gets a first down. Anderson's 14th reception on the year. Some talented underclassmen on this Karr team. Certainly you've got some seniors that always will step up. Wait till we get to the defensive side of the ball, and we'll tell you about one of their big defensive linemen whose name you're going to be hearing a lot about in the next 2 years. Karr going quickly from the 33. Give it away. This is Maroney. Check that. It was not a first down. It was third down on a previous play. Did not get to the sticks. And now he gets the first down. It was 3rd and 1. The previous play had moved the chains, but spoke too soon. Now it is first down after the run by Maroney.
Inside zone play by Karr, their run of choice on offense.
Up the middle once again, a powerful run.
That was Richardson this time on the carry. Leonte Richardson, the senior running back, who's got 281 yards on the season. He will get about 5 on first down. It'll be 2nd and 5. Just underway, and we've got a whistle, and it's a timeout called by Helen Cox.
Karr operating exclusively out of 10 personnel, 1 running back, no tight ends. Out of 2x2 and 3x1 formations, things you've seen forever, it seems, from Karr. Bryce Brown, the head coach, calling the offense, was the offensive coordinator under Jabbar Jalouk going back a few years. Offensive coordinator for 8 years. Of course, Coach Brown played here at Karr, graduated in 2004. He's offensive coordinator under Nathaniel Jones in his 2-year stint. And then, of course, he's in his 5th year, and he's continued to call the plays.
And that's one of the interesting things here, Eric. When you look at some of the great programs in Louisiana high school football history, you're usually used to seeing long, sustained runs by head coaches. And that's not been the case at Karr. Now, Brown's in his 5th year. They've had 3 head coaches this decade, in the course of this decade of dominance that they've put together. On the run, pass is complete, and no, he stepped out of bounds before he could get in at the 4-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal.
Yeah, Karr operating in their 3x1 formation, 3 receivers to the field. They ran a shallow drag from the single receiver, the inside receiver to the trips, meshed with him, double slants on the outside.
Give it away. And that is just short of the goal line. It's going to be 2nd down and goal.
Inside zone run there. They have their inside zone bubble combination off of their inside zone.
They continue to go no huddle here. Give it away one more time, and Richardson will be into the end zone, touchdown. A 2-yard run by Richardson with 9:03 left.
Great to see Richardson get into the end zone there. The senior running back, 6 feet, 185. A number of carries there. He will spell starter Kevin Marigny, a junior. Karr has just 2 starters that are seniors, so scary for the future. But then again, it's scary every year when you're the Karr Cougars.
And then up front, the entire offensive line is underclassmen. Flag before the extra point can get underway. It's going to be offside against Helen Cox. You get a look at our referee, Douglas Stagel.
Neutral zone infraction to call on the field against Cox. That penalty will be declined by Karr, and we will attempt the extra point.
Karr's going to keep it right where it was to kick this extra point.
And sometimes you'll see a head coach take it and then send his offense back on to go for 2 early.
Try is on the way, and it is good. So with 9:03 remaining here in the first quarter, it is Edna Karr 7 and Helen Cox nothing. Well, if you're Bryce Brown, it's exactly what you wanted. Spread out the run and the pass a little bit, get a lot of people involved in the offense, go right down the field and get an early lead.
Yeah, build a running game off your inside zone. Everything's built off of that. You had the 2-headed monster of Marigny and Richardson. Really good to build those 2 guys up as they go into the playoffs next week. Great drive set up off of the nice kickoff return to open the game by number 4, Aaron Anderson, who caught a bubble screen on the drive over here to the left coming to us at the Karr bench. He's a guy who's a sophomore, but he is going to have an incredible amount of FBS offers, Power 5 schools coming in the near future.
Kickoff will come down at about the 14-yard line. And a nice return, but quickly met in a big hit led by Michael Cozart, the senior linebacker, along with a couple of other defenders there. And Cox will start this opening possession on offense at the 31-yard line. Ray Ruffin, the sophomore. Eric, you mentioned in the pregame, Jordan George was their quarterback going into the season. Broke his fibula week 2 against John Ehret, and very unfortunate. But the sophomore Ruffin, that's a tough spot to step into, and he's been able to do that. 5'9", 170 pounds. He's completed about 49% of his passes this year. Not the touchdown to interception ratio you want, a little bit more on the interception side. Give it away on first down. There were flags everywhere to blow this dead before they let the play go. So let's see what this was about. But flags came from both the linesman and the line judge. We'll talk about it.
The ball carrier, number 23, Keelan Burrow, but it looks like the penalty is against Cox.
You're going to see a lot of 23 in this ball game on offense, defense, and in the kicking game. Burrow.
You mentioned Burrow. He's going to be all over the field this evening. So there was movement before the snap. So now we'll have a first down and 15. That's exactly what happened on Karr's opening series. Before the first play could get going, we had a 5-yard penalty to put him back behind the chains. Karr was able to overcome it. Let's see what Cox can do here on first down and 15 at the 26-yard line. Two in the backfield right there. That's Glenn. Now we're going to get a timeout call before this one can get underway. It's Glenn Davidson, one of the defensive linemen, had checked in the backfield there. So you're right. We're going to see quite a bit of guys. And you can look at it from a couple of approaches there. One, it's week 10, and you basically know you got to win to advance. This is like a playoff game for Helen Cox, really. And the other thing is you probably got some players out there who are a little run down. I keep in mind this, of course, we had the weather event 2 Fridays ago that messed with a lot of the high school schedule in Louisiana. And one of the games that was affected was Helen Cox's game against Belle Chase. Supposed to be played on Friday night. Couldn't play on Saturday afternoon. Saturday night was unavailable because Helen Cox already had their homecoming dance scheduled. So they ended up playing the game on Monday at 5 o'clock. All right, first Monday game that's happened in these parts in quite a while. It was a
while. You're right. 1988, my senior year, we actually played our week 2 game. We played our week 1, the season opener against Slidell on a Saturday, and then our week 2 game down at South Lafourche on a Monday night, and 4 days later played Bogalusa on the road.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a lateral there, and that's nice hit in the backfield there. As there you saw Raekwon Starks on the carry, and he was taken down on the backfield. So indeed, there are going to be guys really playing on both sides of the ball. But to finish the story, though, Cox then played on Friday night against Landry Walker. So this is their 3rd game in 11 days, and that's a bit unusual for high school kids to have to deal with. Every once in a while you deal with it on the NFL level if you're playing Sunday, Thursday perhaps. This is really Monday, Sunday, Thursday, I guess, what it would equate to there. But whistles before this one can get going. And a false start is called. So Cougars, the white-clad Cougars, not moving in the right direction right now. A couple of penalties and a loss. It's going to be 2nd down and about 21 coming up here.
Continue to put the offense at a serious disadvantage here with self-inflicted mistakes.
High snap, and falling on it is Starks back inside the 5-yard line. Starks is another guy who's a UTSA commit. Another one of those two-way guys you mentioned earlier, but the injuries. Donovan Johnson is a Virginia commitment. Plays free safety, plays wide receiver, but has been down with an injury for a lot of this season. So you could, you heard us, Matt, that there's some talent. 3 of the top 60 players in Louisiana right there. And that's that's an awful lot of talent they have on one roster. So 3rd and from here to Harvey, I guess. And
another flag on the play.
Another flag comes in. Let's see what the call is here.
You had huddle issues. You had a bad snap. You had a false start. You have another flag that preliminary indications put it on Cox. It's just been a really sloppy first drive for the Cougars of Jefferson Parish.
And this drive started back with the 31-yard line, and now it's going to be back. As they discuss this, now we'll get a call coming here. And it is a false start.
False start.
And a personal foul face mask against Edna Karr. So the penalties will offset.
Replay it.
And we'll play it again. So.
And as the public address announcer said, 3rd down and forever.
It is a bunch. 36 it looks like, or 37 yards to go.
3rd down and a couple of West Bank Expressway exits.
Yeah. I'll get a...
real slow in and out of the huddle, subbing in and on the field.
And I guess
we're in week 10.
Right, and I guess that's part of the thing with trying to run some guys out there on offense that maybe you haven't had playing offense as mine. Coming this side, it is caught, and they'll get a couple of yards back on that completion. Looked like Kyron Marshall, the freshman wide receiver, on the catch.
That was Donovan Johnson.
That was Donovan Johnson. Okay, it was 18, not 16. And we mentioned Johnson had been hurt, but hey, if this is your last game, you get out there and give it a go. Give him credit for that.
They're going to try and get the ball to 18, 21, and 23. As you mentioned, 3 guys that are rated as top 50, top 60 players in the state of Louisiana.
Here comes the punt. And pretty good kick. It'll get it back to about the 45-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will begin possession number 2. The Orleans Parish version of the Cougars here this evening. And this district is all teams from the West Bank of New Orleans. You've got, besides these two, you've got Belle Chase and it's down in Plaquemines Parish, Landry Walker, who shares Berman Stadium with Karr and just down the road.
Friendly rivals.
Friendly rivals, yeah. They met in week 8. It was quite the game, and Karr won that one by the score of 18-14.
First down and 10.
From the 45. Kelly will try to throw the slant. It was batted down or batted in the air and knocked away. 2nd and 10. I believe that might have been Jacoby Wells, the linebacker, who got a hand on that one.
Slants from both sides. Middle of the field coverage. Slants are as good a play as you can come with from an offensive perspective.
Play action. No, give it away this time. This is the running back Maroney on the carry. Get it out to about the 42-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Check that. That might have been Richardson there. 5 on the carry.
Split zone look there for the Cougars, running inside zone, bringing the H-back across, and that's Leonte Robinson. Now they go back from
that's Maroney
personnel groups.
Just a little inside screen that time. Tried to sneak Maroney in there, and it was well defended right there. And that was Keelan Burrow. 95 tackles on the year. He had 20 in the game against Belle Chase. And this is kind of no man's land right here, Eric. 4th down, 6.5 to go. The line to gain is the 35-yard line. A little close maybe to punt. You take a shot and go for it here.
Take a shot and go for it. Week 10, work on it going into the playoffs.
Play action. Slant batted and incomplete. And there was Burrow once again, making his presence felt on those last 2 plays on defense. And Helen Cox will take over on downs. After that offensive drive, you give the, you have to punt it away, and Karr gets the ball in your end of the field. To be able to get that 4 and out right there and get the ball back, get some field position, that is huge for David Davis's club right there.
Tremendous for Coach Davis's club. He gets the ball at the minus 42-yard line, obviously on our 2nd drive of the game, their best start in field position, but you need something to go in your favor. This is their 5th different formation in as many downs that they've played.
And the 3rd false start penalty that we've seen, or procedure. So now it's 1st and 15. And
no, Coach Davis is beside himself. It's week 10, and we're having preseason mistakes being made, things that you should be getting right
and I don't think
or fixing in spring ball.
I don't think they had the right ball on the field at that point. Maybe Carr's ball was still on the field, and Ruffin realized it. Wanted a different football, got it thrown in from the sidelines.
Tough front for Cox to run up against that Karr Cougar front, very stout. Karr does a great job disguising coverage, also disguising blitzes, showing blitz and then dropping into coverage.
Now they'll pull back. Ruffin will look to throw, and instead he is brought down. That is Kendrick Rogers, the senior, on the sack. A lot of pressure from up the middle. Rogers and a guy whose name we're going to talk about a lot tonight, Tyjee Hill, the sophomore, 6'3", 275 pounds. Eric, he is the #1 rated player in Louisiana in the class of 2022 and is the #1 rated defensive tackle in the nation. And you see the pressure that's going to...
Seeing him
coming from up the middle there.
Yeah, seeing him in pregame, a physical specimen on the field, very athletic, watching him move around. Just, you watch him, the word athleticism really comes to mind to describe him.
A quick pass this way, that is caught. Khari Fields, flag comes in. A little bit of a gain. Let's see what the penalty is all about. It's an ineligible man downfield against Helen Cox. So the white-clad Cougars continue to have some self-inflicted plays here that are moving them further back behind the chains.
At least 4 on offense. We're not even done with the second series yet. Minute 26 left in the first quarter, and the story for Cox on offense has been self-inflicted wounds, drawing penalty flags, things that should be cleaned up by the time you hit August. However, as you mentioned, playing a number of different guys on both sides of the ball, taking some of their best defensive players, Burley at linebacker, Johnson the free safety, Starks the corner, and firing all their bullets tonight, because even though they're 2-7 with a victory, should get them in the 4A playoffs.
Well, Crescent City Sports has more high school football coming up tomorrow night. A District 9 5A matchup at Tad Gormley Stadium as the unbeaten Archbishop Rummel Raiders take on the Jesuit Blue Jays. Wade Kaiser will join me for the call. Kickoff at 7 live here at CrescentCitySports.com. I tell you what, and in your position, Eric, it's hard to start ranking teams necessarily, but I think based on what we've seen thus far this year, the top 4 teams in Louisiana might be, in no particular order, Rummel, Catholic, Curtis, and St. Thomas More. And the Rummel-Curtis game and the Catholic STM game may be the 2 best games played in Louisiana this year. 2 totally different games. Rummel and Curtis, an absolute defensive slugfest, 21-20 in overtime. Rummel wins it when Curtis goes for 2 and can't get it at the end. And then the Catholic STM game, of course, 52-50. Catholic a winner in that one. That was back in week 5.
And had to kick a field goal on the last play of the game. To win it. An incredible drive with, I believe, 1:23 on the clock to get it in field goal range for the young sophomore rookie kicker for the Bears. But without a doubt, the 3 teams from the Catholic League, STM, and if you want to make a top 5, throw this team Karr in there too.
No doubt about it, because again, Karr's only 2 losses this year are to Curtis and Catholic, and probably the 3rd best game of the year is the game that Karr and Curtis played here in week 1, 42-39. Curtis won that one as you get a stop behind the line there, and once again, the Cougars are moving in the wrong direction here. It's going to be 3rd down and 27. This possession started at the 42. This snap's going to come from just inside the 25-yard line.
Their attempt to run speed option there to the left went awry, and quarterback Ray Ruffin tackled for a loss.
3rd down and long.
Need to get something going here.
Just need to get some positive plays right now. Ruffin works from the gun. He's got 1 man at his side and 4 wide receivers. He'll step up. He will run. He can get a block. He's got some running room. He's going to slide down at about the 34-yard line. So probably the most productive play of the night thus far. And sometimes it just takes one play to get something going a little bit. Yeah, you're going to have to punt it here, but you got almost 10 back on the final play of the first quarter. The scoreboard will show you 7-0. Edna Karr leads it, but the Cougars in gold have really dominated, particularly on defense thus far. 12 minutes in the books. Stay with us. You are watching the Allstate Sugar Bowl LHSAA Thursday Night Football Game of the Week, a presentation of Crescent City Sports. Second quarter set to get underway. This portion of tonight's game being presented by Rockin' Bowl, with locations in New Orleans and Lafayette. For the latest live music schedules, visit rockinbowl.com. And of course, Rockin' Bowl in New Orleans, home to the Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club every Tuesday at noon. Be sure to check it out. If you can't make it, check out all the videos here at CrescentCitySports.com. Fair catch called for, and Edna Karr will begin possession number 3 of the evening at its 37-yard line, now moving left to right.
One of the best things Cox has done so far is hang those 2 punts up in the air where Karr has had to call for fair catches. Jeremy Williams punting for the Cox Cougars, doing a good job there. Karr doing a good job of just playing hold up on their punt return team instead of trying to go pressure punts. Now, if it's close near the end of the first half or close in the third or fourth quarter, they're going to send the house to pressure and block punts. But right now, hold them up, keep them off the returner, and hope for a good return.
High snap, and this is going to put Edna Karr in a huge hole here. The snap over the center's head over the quarterback's head is going to put the football back at the 18-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down and 29.
Sometimes those things are contagious. When your kids see the other team continue to make mistake after mistake after mistake on the offense and chew up clock and time of possession, your guys are watching that, and it kind of becomes ingrained in their heads, and it's amazing how it ends up working against you.
Kelly will step up. He will throw, and it is caught. Get almost all of it back right there. That was Payson on the catch to the 32, so now it's going to be 3rd down and about 15. Payson came in 34 catches, 712 yards, 7 touchdowns. I mentioned number 8 in the class of 2021 in Louisiana. The 247 composite has offers from LSU and Alabama, among others. Kelly stepping up. He's going to throw it on the run and caught. 1st down and then some. And hold everything here. I think we may have
an illegal
forward pass. I tell you, that was very close right there. We'll get another look at it in a moment, but explain the rule on that, Eric. It's not where your feet are, correct? It's where the ball is?
That is right. So you can see it here on the replay, checking the replay out.
The line is the 32.
It's close, but when he let that ball loose, he was at the 33. And what was funny was after the long gainer for a first down deep in the Cox territory, the chain crew ran with the chains. And the guy holding the box with the down marker, he took off running as well.
And then, you know what? And they've got it at the wrong spot right now. They've got it at the. They've got the chains now at the 39, which would be a first down at the 49. The series started at the 37. So they're a couple of yards off, which is going to make this all the more challenging for Karr. And of course, it is a loss of down.
Of course.
So it's really a moot point. You're going to punt anyway here on fourth down.
One very underrated aspect of Karr every year, their special teams. They do a tremendous job with their alignment. They coach it up fingertip to fingertip with the wingspan across the front. They do a really good job in their shield and their protection.
And there was movement. It looks like Helen Cox may have flinched and come across. On fourth and what's supposed to be 18, but really is showing 20 right now. Not a big deal.
Largest number of penalties so far on a Thursday night, only 14 and change in to this ball game.
And once again,
amazing.
We've got movement up front. Keep doing this, the spot of the change could come into play.
At a loss for words.
At this point, do you just tell your guys freeze right now? I know you're trying to maybe come after the punter. You've got 10 up. This time, they'll get it away. And a lot of gold jerseys down there to down this. They will let it roll. It's going to go inside the 20 down at the 19-yard line. And that's where Helen Cox will begin possession number 2. Stay with us. Coming up at halftime, Eric and I and Kate will discuss what's coming on Sunday. And that's the announcement of this year's playoff brackets and all 5 classifications and all 4 divisions. The road to the championship gets underway on Sunday with first-round matchups coming next week. It's a busy time for championships, of course. Volleyball playoffs have begun. We've got the quarters, semis, and finals next Thursday through Saturday in the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner. You go straight from there to cross country and straight from there to swimming. So it's a
back to back to back. Busy time for the high school association.
First down pass is incomplete. It was intended near side here for Karr Fields. It took a shot. And it's 2nd and 10.
Coxon empty there. They're 3-by-2 formation. 3 receivers to the field, 2 to the boundary, all hitched there. That's got to be 100% completion. Pick your side of the field. Pre-snap read, the easiest throw and catch you can make. And it's just like you and a friend going out in the yard and playing pitch and catch. That's how easy it should be. Should be 100% completion.
So on 2nd and 10. Fake the jet sweep, and this time it's going to be a quarterback keeper, and there are a ton of yellow jerseys right there to take care of that. That was Con Meads, the junior defensive lineman, who was first to the play in the backfield. And we've got an injured player, and you hope that's not the quarterback right there, but it may be, Eric.
Yeah, I believe it is Ruffin, unfortunately. It's unfortunate anyone's injured, but they lost their stud quarterback, Jordan George Sr., in week 2 against Arid in a ball game. They were competing their rear ends off. They had a shot at beating a 5A neighborhood rival in John Arid. And when George was injured in front of his entire team, Coach Davis said it was a debilitating injury, of course, but also debilitating from a team psyche standpoint as well. It took them 4 weeks to recover from seeing their leader out for the season with a traumatic injury. And then Ruffin, the sophomore, having to come in and build his confidence when your team, you could kind of feel you're shaking confidence-wise.
And you mentioned there the John Ehret game. You look at the schedule that Cox has played. They opened up with a win against Sophie B. Wright, played Ehret in week 2, played a very good Jesuit team in week 3, lost to Booker T. Washington in week 4, who's sitting there top 10 right now in 3A. A good win over Carver in week 5, a team that we saw on the game of the week back in week 4 against McDonough 35, and then 4 losses in a row since to an East St. John team that's got a chance to win a piece of a district title down in the Bayou River League tomorrow night. Yeah, a St. Aug team who has probably played, they haven't got the one-loss record they want this year, but they have probably played Curtis and Rummel, the 2 best teams in that league, better than anyone else has played this year. You had that Monday night loss to Belle Chase where Belle Chase had to kick 3 field goals to win that game 16-14. And then a tough loss coming back on a short week against Landry Walker 19-7. So they've had some tough games. The one thing you notice there is some low-scoring games. This team can really play on defense, and we've seen, since that first drive, we've seen them force, a couple of Karr 3-and-outs here. They held Ehret to 19. They held Carver to 14. They held Landry Walker to 19. Held Belle Chase to 16. That's 4 opponents right there, under 20 points.
Yeah, you mentioned Belle Chase started off 5-0, held them to 3 field goals, hunkering down on defense and making things happen.
So on 3rd down, it's a quarterback draw as Fields, we saw it wide receiver, is also listed as a quarterback and moves to the quarterback position here and runs it out to about the 19-yard line. So right about where this drive started, it's going to be 4th down and 10.
Cox in empty there. Quarterback run the entire way, draw play. You don't get the first down. However, what you do is allow Ruffin to get recomposed on the sideline, and you hope it's not anything serious where he can come back the next series.
Back deep, number 4, Aaron Anderson.
Punt is away. It will be taken in by Anderson in Helen Cox territory at the 46-yard line.
You mentioned Cox playing good defense. You mentioned some of the scores. Landry Walker, that 19-7 loss last week. The week before, Landry Walker had Karr beat with a few minutes left in the game.
They were in this very field 2 weeks ago. They were winning the game in the 4th quarter, and Karr rallied to beat them 18-14. And Karr turned around last week and handled Belle Chase 38-8. So on 1st down, Maroney will get about 5. Kevin Maroney, the junior, leads his team in rushing. They will spread it around. They're not a team that's going to be all the one receiver, all the one running back, or anything like that. They get a lot of people involved in the offense. Maroney again on 2nd down will stay on his feet and get the first down. Looked like he was headed down, landed on top of a tackler and bounced back up and got another 4 yards on the play.
Great example of playing through the whistle there on the inside zone play out of 10 personnel. First down, you saw 20 personnel, 2 backs, no tight ends, 3 receivers. They ran split flow zone, which you'll see out of 20 personnel a ton. Now they're back to 10 personnel in a 3-by-1 formation.
3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Now they'll send the Maroney in motion. They'll throw it this way. And he's got blockers downfield. We'll get out across the 30 to about the 28. It's an extended handoff effectively there, Eric.
Basically, that's what it is, a long toss sweep. And what you saw Bryce Brown did was something pretty creative. Usually you'll see those backs go in motion toward the 3 receiver side and carry it all the way to the numbers. That receiver stopped behind the number 3 receiver.
Once again, it's Maroney, and that should be enough for a first down. So it's been all Maroney on this series. It started back at the 46, a couple of first downs. Now he'll get a blow, it looks like. And it will be Leonte Richardson, the senior, taking over in the backfield. 2 wide receivers to each side. Kelly, look to the screen, now looking, getting great blocking up front. He's got all day to throw. Now his receiver heads downfield, and that is incomplete. That was almost a tremendous catch down there on the far side, and I believe we got a flag. You could take that long, and you got that many seconds to throw it. Chances are somebody might have crept downfield, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, slant bubble combination. Good coverage by Cox. And then pressure on Kelly. Scramble. They work the scramble drill. If you're a receiver close to the line of scrimmage, then on the scramble you will work vertical. If you're deep, you will work back to the football in your scramble drill. If you're on the other side of the field, you will get into the line of sight at different levels so the quarterback can see a good job, but a legal man downfield.
So 1st down and 15 now, ball at the 28-yard line. It's Richardson on the carry for about 4, so he got just about the penalty yardage back. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
If you're familiar with the purple and gold team at the college level in the state of Louisiana, along with one of the best high school teams of similar color schematic, both teams on offense love to run inside zone.
On 2nd and 11, Kelly looking into the end zone, and he overshot his man. Threw into double coverage.
Wow, late flag. Coverage by Johnson, staying over the top from his safety position. Did a really good job of staying over the top and leveraging the receiver. Not getting his hands on the receiver, just using his bodying up and staying over the top. And this looked like a well-coached play.
It's unsportsmanlike conduct against Helen Cox.
So not pass interference. He played it well, just like he's coached from a safety and coverage perspective. However, I think there were some words exchanged there from Johnson 18 to the Karr receiver who was in the vicinity. It's another mistake by Helen Cox.
Give it away to Maroney, who will fall forward to about the 6-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and 4, but hold everything. We got a flag. It's going to be against Karr.
Another split flow zone play by Karr. It'll be coming back a legal procedure.
So it'll be 1st and 15. Karr operating in the red zone. Ball at the 17-yard line.
One thing that Coach Davis has, Cox Cougars have been really good with is control the football, control the clock. They've had a number of penalties called against them where the clock continues to wind, and that's a big reason why the score is 7-0 along with the Cox Cougar defense.
Coming this way, pass is caught. Nice job staying in bounds right there. That was Mr. Simmons on the catch, the senior, 5'8", 155-pound receiver, his 15th catch of the year. He's got 3 touchdowns.
20 personnel. Play action off the split flow zone action. You run enough split flow zone, you can drag the H-back underneath, get him in the flat, and then flood concept it with your other
Maroney with room to run. Did not get any. Stopped short of the goal line by about a yard. But it'll be 1st and goal.
We'll have enough for another Karr. 1st down. 1st down and goal. Cougars inside the 2.
Split flow zone again, or same side zone?
Tripped up is Maroney. Did he get in? I don't think he did. He's going to be marked about a foot short of the goal line. He got tripped up, that hole was there for a split second, and it closed quickly. You got to give this Helen Cox defense a lot of credit, Eric, as Karr will go quickly once again. Give it away once again to Maroney, I'm sorry. And he is met in the backfield and will get right back to the original line. It's going to be 3rd and goal.
Quinn Triggs, a safety, I'm sorry, corner playing in the box here.
Quinn Triggs.
Little guy, 5'7", 155 pounds, playing big right there. So it's 3rd and about a 1.5 feet to go. One more time, Maroney, and one more time he's hit in the backfield, and one more time it's Triggs. What a hit.
2 in a row by Triggs, the little guy making big plays. Same side, inside zone, meaning same side to the H-back instead of having the H-back come across. And this is something that I thought they would do, maybe go under center. Showed it.
Now it's 4th and goal. Ball at about the 1.5. Quarterback, RPO there, and that is incomplete.
What a stop by Cox.
You're at the 1 foot line. Now you got a flag down here at the 6-yard line. Let's see what this is about. The indication is it's against Karr. At least judging by the player's reaction, it is a false start against Karr. So that was a little bit of an RPO there on 4th down. It looked like Kelly he faked the handoff, looked like he wanted to run, stop, and then throw the football. It's as Wade Kaiser and I have talked about it, it's effectively triple option at that point.
That's exactly what it is, Lenny. Exactly what it is. And good to see Coach Kaiser, you mentioned him, staying involved in high school football, being a color commentator on Friday nights. Good to see him out at stadiums around South Louisiana. Got an opportunity to see him back in week 1 when De La Salle opened up, which seems like an eternity ago, against Warren Easton at Tad Gormley. It's amazing how fast the season goes.
Doesn't it?
Look back from week 10 to week 1. And
well, it's your first season in quite a while not being on the sidelines. Did it go faster?
It did. I felt like it did. It's amazing how fast, and it's the first time since 1986 that I haven't been involved in football as a coach or a player.
We got whistles that are going to stop this one before this gets going, as it is still Fields back there at quarterback for Cox. It's clocked down now to 1:32 here in the first half.
And if you're Cox at this point, you just want to get the ball across the line of scrimmage, take yourself out of danger of getting a safety, maybe even get under center and hard count it so you can get Karr to maybe jump and move them 5 yards and then run the clock out. Maybe even take a knee on 1st down and dare Karr to call a timeout. That's a safe play, because if you're trying to run from the gun, you can have a bad snap. Number of false starts that we've seen. Nice surge.
Fields gives it away. Gets a blocking up front. And that's about 2.5 yards on 1st down, on a timeout called by Bryce Brown here. He's going to wisely use the 2 timeouts he's got left if he can get another stop here. And Cox does not have a 1st down in this game. They've had the ball 3 times. They've been 3 and out every time. If they can get a stop, you're going to get pretty good field position and a chance to maybe try to do something in the 2-minute drill.
Going to try and block a punt here, or maybe play hold up and get a punt return set up.
You got a lot of options at that point, no question about it.
Got a ton. What you do, you make the clock stop and use that to your advantage and give your offense to get on the field and work at some 2-minute stuff that you really need to work on going into the playoffs. It's nothing like working a live 2-minute drill under the lights with the scoreboard on, the officials out there, and a real opposing defense rather than your scout team defense. You cannot replicate what you see on a Friday.
So 2nd down, about 8.
Second down and 9.
Quarterback will keep and not get far, and a flag comes in from the opposite side. I believe this is going to be a face mask against Karr, and if it is, it's going to give Helen Cox their first down of the evening with 59 seconds left in the first half.
You look at the stat sheet. First down by rush, by pass, goose eggs, by penalty, one. And it looked like after the timeout was called that the clock started running.
The clock ticks under 50 seconds, and I think at this point, your chances of you going 99 yards in a minute and 30 were not very good to begin with, as there is movement up front.
Wow.
And it's about the only thing that slowed this half of football down has been the yellow flags. Otherwise it's been a very briskly played half. It's against Edna Karr. It'll be first down and 5.
Neutral zone infraction.
As the clock operator up here said, that's unbelievable. That's one way of saying it. They do have ice at halftime for the officials to ice down their arms.
There you
the
go.
number of flags they've thrown. It's incredible.
And
guess what?
another. Let's see, was this not ready for play yet? Still first down. Now we're going to mark it ready for play.
I think the gentleman with the down marker, there was an issue with it, so the official got it right.
Trying to get to the edge, and Fields is brought down after about a gain of a yard on what may be, I'll say it might be the final play of the half, but we've got a flag instead, and it's going against the white-clad Cougars here. I think if you're both teams right now, you just want to get this thing to the locker room at 7-0.
Guarantee you Coach Brown and his staff will have some choice words for their guys.
Do not have to run a play here. Let's see if they do. 2-1. They will run the play. Give it away to Wilson, and I don't believe I saw up. Never mind, there is a flag. Hold. Is that a flag at the 6-yard line? Maybe not. Maybe that's just a towel. That's it. That is the end of the first half. I thought we missed one there. We got through a final play of the half without a flag. We are at the break. It is Edna Karr 7, Helen Cox nothing. Back with our halftime show right after this. This is the Allstate Sugar Bowl LHSAA Thursday Night Football Game of the Week, a presentation of Crescent City Sports. Back at halftime, Lenny Van Gilder, Eric Held, Kate Adams, Edna Karr with a 7-0 lead over Helen Cox. And Eric, as you look at those first half numbers, that is, shall we say,
sober,
good defensive football.
That's one way of looking at
Yeah.
it. Really good defensive football by Cox inside the 10-yard line, where Karr had 4 chances to score. They ran same side zone, 3 chances, first, second, third down, and just absolutely stuffed. And then they RPO'd it on 4th through incomplete. Tremendous stop by Cox. And then it looked like Karr may have an opportunity there to force Cox to punt before the half ended. However, a penalty flag put Cox on the other side of the chains, the right side of the chains, for the first time all game. 1 first down for Cox by penalty.
There you go. There you go. And what we don't know at this point is the status of Ray Ruffin, the Helen Cox quarterback, as he left with an injury there late in the second quarter. We saw Kari Fields towards the end of the first half. The Edna Karr band about to take the field. We're going to listen in for them for a couple of minutes, and when we come back from that, we're going to take a look at some of the power ratings from around the state of Louisiana as we head into this 10th and final week of the regular season. But for now, let's have a listen to the Edna Karr Cougar Band. the band performance here in this presentation to the court from Dwight Eisenhower School. Let's take a look at the power ratings as we head into the 10th and final week of the season. Now, you're going to see some movement up and down, starting with Class 5A here, Eric. And right there at the top of Acadiana, the only undefeated team on the non-select side in Class 5A at this point, and they would seem to be in pretty good shape to be the number 1 seed. But, as you look at this, you got to immediately look at a couple of teams there. Of course, you got to look at Zachary at number 5, the 2-time defending state champion. You got to look at West Monroe at number 6, an always dangerous team, and especially as a 6 seed, they can be very dangerous.
Sure, Lenny, and I think West Monroe at 6 there, once these power ratings are official on Saturday night and then are released, the prep pairing show on Sunday, I believe they'll be up there in the 2 or 3 area once it's official and everything's added in. But Acadiana should be the one with another win, go undefeated. But West Monroe, Acadiana, Zachary is kind of a sleeping giant because of their slow start. Turned things around with the big win against Brandon of Mississippi, one of the top teams in the state next door. And one thing about Coach Brew's crew at Zachary, every year they seem to just get better and better every week.
As you go on to Class 4A, the only undefeated team there is just across the lake at Lakeshore. And you see Edna Karr, the team we're watching here this evening, sitting there in the 3 spot, the 3-time defending champions. And that's the first place you got to go look and see where it is that they end up in the bracket. I would expect they may stay in the 3 spot perhaps when this is all said and done. They could even slip a spot to 4 here. With all fairness to Helen Cox, they do have just 2 wins on the season, and that really doesn't help matters that much.
Yeah, I think Craig Jones and his staff have done a tremendous job at Lakeshore after losing Jacob Bernard, the all-everything athlete, and turned right around, along with losing a few other key guys off of last year's Titan team, and catapulting to number 1 in 2019. Neville and Karr should be 2 and 3 in that order, and then Tioga and Assumption are in that battle, but look out for Westgate, Bastrop, Karen Crow is possibly that 4th team in 4A.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind as we watch this, we're in a 7-point game here at half. Helen Cox is sitting at 34 going into this week. A win tonight, I don't think there's any question, they jump up into that top 32, and they're going to be playing next week. So this is a de facto playoff game for the Helen Cox Cougars. As we move on to Class 3A, you see 3 undefeated teams at the top, led by St. James, who has been incredibly impressive this year. I think at this point, you have to say that they deserve that big jump that they've got in the power points there as the potential number 1 seed in the 3A bracket. They've played an incredibly tough schedule.
From what I've seen so far, it's going to be really tough for a 3A team to knock off Coach Robert Valdez's Wildcats from Vacherie. They're a complete team. They have a great athlete in Shamar Smith at quarterback. Preston's the receiver. One thing they have that they haven't in the past is the Mailer kid that's the kicker and punter, a field position weapon, puts the ball in the end zone on kickoffs, averages 43 yards a kick, and is good from 50 plus, and is a legitimate kicking recruit down the road for the Wildcats. It's going to be tough for someone in 3A to knock them off.
2 teams to watch in this bracket. One is Madison Prep at 4 right now. The other is McDonough 35 at 7, who started 0-3 and has rattled off 6 straight wins.
And McDonough 35 is playing Booker T. Washington tonight in the Reese Bowl.
The Reese Bowl, indeed. As you look at 2A, no one is undefeated on the non-select side. When we get to Division III on the select side, it's going to look a lot different. But Faraday right now, the number 1 seed with Manny at 2, Amy, the defending champion, at 3, Kentwood, who won the 1A title last year, sitting there at 8. So that's 2 teams that know how to get it done this time of year that you got to watch out for.
I think in 2A, it's Manny and Amit, who look like they're on a collision course for the semis. Faraday looks pretty solid at 1. Kentwood, who is just a few students above the 1A, 2A cutoff, is 2A. Watch out for them. And then another team from the North Shore region, Pine in Washington Parish.
Be great to see a new team maybe get there, and Pine would certainly fit the bill. And then we move on to Class 1A. West St. John has been there before, and they're sitting there again. You talk about strength of schedule. The teams in the River Parish are so strong, and they all play each other out of district that it drives up those power points. You saw it with St. James. West St. John sitting there 5-3, but they're the number 1 at this point with a decent margin over number 2 Oberlin, who is sitting there at 9-0. So that gives you an idea just how strong a schedule West St. John has played, and played up in class.
They play up in class every year. Brandon Walters does a tremendous job, head coach of the Rams from Edgard on the River. Looks like a collision course. West St. John and Oak Grove 1-4 in the semis. And I'll give you a team from the other side of the bracket that's not a 2 or 3. Logansport at number 7.
No doubt about it. As we move on to the select side, Division 1, and last Friday night, Crescent City Sports and Cox Sports Television, we had a chance to look at that Rummel John Curtis Classic. And right now, as it stands, you look at it, Rummel's at 1, Curtis is at 4. Curtis plays Brother Martin tomorrow night. In all likelihood, the winner of that game becomes the 3 seed. Rummel plays Jesuit, a game we'll have here on Crescent City Sports tomorrow night. And then you've got Catholic sitting there too, and certainly, while we can talk a lot about what's going on in the Catholic League, you can't sleep on the Bears, who of course have been in the Dome, or have been in the championship game 2 years in a row now.
Yeah, 2 years in a row for the Bears, playing John Curtis, and that likely will not happen this year, because if things play out the way they should, it should be Rummel 1, Catholic 2, John Curtis 3, with a win over the Crusaders. If Brother Martin does win, they would flip-flop and be 3 and 4. If Jesuit defeats Rummel, Rummel will be the 2, Catholic will catapult to the 1 spot, and Jesuit would move up to 5, Scotlandville 6, and the 7 and 8 spots, Holy Cross St. Aug on Saturday afternoon. The winner becomes 7. The loser is 8. I believe Birds 9. St. Paul 10. Shaw 11. McKinley 12. Now, if Shaw wins, they'll be 11. If St. Paul's loses to Fontainebleau and ties with Shaw in the power rating, Shaw would jump to 10 because of the strength factor.
There you go. As we move on to Division 2, and you see everybody with 2 losses here, but this is a strong division. You look right there at the top, 1, 2, 3. St. Thomas More, University Lab, De La Salle. These have been the 2 teams that have played, or the 3 teams that have played for the Division 2 title the last 2 years. University beat De La Salle 2 years ago. They beat St. Thomas More in a classic last year, and it's looking like could be 1, 2, 3 again. Look at the point difference there between University Lab and De La Salle. Only 2 100ths of a point. Cavaliers feel like maybe they've got a chance, playing tonight against Thomas Jefferson, maybe a chance things break right, that they've got a chance to jump to the 2 seed.
STM will be the 1 and is definitely the team to beat in Division 2. The big thing about whether or not you're 2 or 3, sure, you're going to play in the semis, but if you're the 2, you get home field advantage, and there's nothing like having that where you can walk outside your back door or stay in your town if you don't play in your on-campus stadium. A team to look at, number 9, possibly number 8, maybe even number 10, Evangel Christian.
Oh, no doubt. And you're looking at the possibility there. If they're 8 or 9, that's an Evangel St. Thomas More quarterfinal. Wow, that could be salty. You head to Division 3, and we mentioned the strength here. Look at the top 5 teams in Division 3, all sitting there with 1 loss. Lafayette Christian, a 2-time defending champion. Notre Dame, a defending champion. St. Charles Catholic, who has been there before. Isidore Newman with the freshman Arch Manning at quarterback. And Dunham, who has, lost their great player in Derek Stingley a year ago, but is back in this position again. And then you got to look down at number 8. You can't sleep on Catholic of New Iberia. They were 6 a year ago and got all the way to the state championship game. And if it's Catholic Lafayette Christian in the quarterfinals, if this holds as that 1-8 matchup, wow, that'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, Catholic New Iberia of Coach Brent Indest. The Panthers there as the 8th seed. Played in the Dome last year, state runner-up. Year before, knocked off Notre Dame, who will likely finish as the 2 seed and would host St. Charles Catholic in the semis. Lafayette Christian is the 1. And then a race there at 4. Newman should be the 4 seed. And then Dunham as the 5. Interesting possible matchup between Newman and Dunham. Neil Weiner doing a great job with Dunham after losing arguably the number 1 player in the country in Stingley from last year.
And lastly, Division 4 here. We'll wrap it up with this. Ascension Catholic at 1. And then what's interesting to me is Calvary Baptist schedule didn't play out very strong for them this year, sitting there at number 5. And Yeah, that's a team that could scare a lot of people. You got a lot of one-loss teams in between, of Vermilion Catholic, Opelousas Catholic, and Ouachita Christian, a team that we saw here OCS on Thursday night 4 weeks ago. That is that's a pretty interesting group there at the top of Division 4.
The top 8, a lot of parity there, but the team to beat is Calvary Baptist. Everyone in Division 4 is on the lookout for the Cavaliers. Another one, of course, is Ouachita Christian. If they do end up 4-5, you'd see them pretty early on.
Quarterfinal matchup.
In the quarterfinal matchup, which could be the 2 top teams in Division 4, but that's why you play. That's the fun part, if you will, of the power ratings. Ascension Catholic is a well-deserved one if they do stay up top. They've been to the Division 4 state championship game the last 2 years, losing to Lafayette Christian, who's now moved up to Division 3.
Right, and you would think from their standpoint, they're probably glad not to have to see Lafayette Christian, but you mentioned those, that if the seeds hold, they could be playing either OCS or Calvary in the semifinals, just for a chance to get back to a state championship game. Eric, thanks for your analysis. We're certainly looking forward to the playoffs getting started next week. And we'll bring in Kate just to talk about what's coming up on Sunday. Again, we mentioned getting things started here with Thursday night, full schedule on Friday, 1 game on Saturday, St. Augustine Holy Cross, and then come Sunday, we'll get the prep pairing show, 11 a.m. Sunday, live on CST and on the LHSAA Live app. Kate, what can people look for on Sunday?
On Sunday, just make sure you tune in. This is your time to basically get the first opportunity to check out the brackets for football. And like you said, again, it's going to be on Cox Sports Television starting at 11 a.m., going to 12:30. So watch it. Also catch it on the LHSAA Live app. If you do not have the app, it's a great app to get. You'll get all the latest information on LHSAA prep football and all the rest of our sports. So definitely check it out.
And you see how to download it there through whatever store you prefer there, the App Store, the Google Play, or wherever it is you get your apps. Go ahead and get it. Of course, other championships, volleyball is underway. This is an incredibly busy time of year for the LHSAA in terms of championship events.
It definitely is. We actually just released the volleyball brackets on November 4th, so you can go find those on our website as well as our app. And we've got those volleyball state championships coming up November 14th through 16th at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner. So we're very excited about those coming up. Then we've got cross country, swimming, spirit, and then football, the one sport that we're all waiting to go.
2 weekends of football, December 6th and 7th on the select side, December 13th and 14th on the non-select side, where we'll see 9 state champions crowned in the span of 9 days, and it will be a lot of fun. Kate, while we have you, I know you had a chance to get with the coaches at half. What did you hear from them in the first half?
That's right, Lenny. I did have a chance to catch up with Coach Brown at the half. Basically asked him what his message to the team was. What he told me was he wasn't too pleased what he's seeing on his offensive line right now. They have got to improve on the offensive line. One of the reasons they didn't get that touchdown, they definitely should have got at the end of the second quarter, but hopefully they'll see some improvement and he'll see what he needs from his offensive line.
Okay, Kate, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
As we'll welcome Eric back in here as we get set for our third quarter kickoff. Helen Cox will get it first here. What kind of adjustments do you think David Davis made here at halftime? I think the biggest thing he had to do was on the offensive side.
Biggest thing he had to do is make sure he has a quarterback to play. That's exactly the most important thing.
The kick is short, taken in at about the 15-yard line. Return up the middle, up past the 25 and near the 30-yard line, and that's where Helen Cox will begin the first series here of the second half. And let's see who does come out at quarterback for the Cougars.
Seemed like forever ago that we were playing a second quarter, a long halftime there. Looked like the middle school homecoming court. Crowned, good event, good job by Karr recognizing their feeder school. If that's the case, it allows for Coach Davis and his son, David Davis Jr., to put together an offense for the Cox Cougars.
Looks like something different at quarterback, and Maybe a little trickeration there on first down, but nowhere to go. That was Raekwon Starks taking the direct snap on first down. And might have lost a couple on the play. Second down and 12. You saw the stats at halftime. Helen Cox had minus 13 yards. And the one first down that came by penalty.
That was the story of the game for them on offense. All kinds of mistakes. And we come out here and we see them lose 2 on first down. They have a single wing Notre Dame box-like formation.
And once again, it'll be Starks. And once again, there's not much running room there as a slew of gold jerseys in there, along with something else yellow. It's about a 1 foot by 1 foot square. A dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against Edna Karr. Helen Cox will get their second first down of the game, and it's the second one by penalty.
This is not going to make Coach Brown happy. A guy that preaches discipline in his program, a big reason why the Karr Cougars have been able to win 3 state championships in a row. Talking to him last year when I was an assistant at Catholic High trying to schedule some teams for pre-district. We were both looking and we both agreed to play, and he said this will be great for both teams.
Second down and 10.
It's first down. They did not change the marker there. Tyrone Wilson carried it that time. And that is going to be a gain of about 3 on first down. It'll be second down and 7. Check that. It'll be second and 8. Now they've got third down on the chains, and I'm baffled here because they moved the sticks. It should be second down and 8 right now. And officials got to correct that down marker, and it's not done.
One thing Cox is doing.
Now they've got it right. Second and 8.
Control the football, keep the football, run it, control clock.
And that is blown up in the backfield, and that was, I believe, Hill on the stop, number 90. Now check that. It's 91, Kendrick Rogers.
Kendrick Rogers has been just as impressive as Hill. Hill as advertised, but Rogers really lighting up the stat sheet and playing in the backfield.
So what do you think of this look we've seen thus far from Cox offensively? Now they'll spread it back out on third and long, but we saw about 3 or 4 plays there of effectively a single wing with 3 blockers up front, almost like a modified punt formation, if you will, a tighter version of that.
The thing that went wrong last down was they tried to run counter and blocked no one.
And nowhere to go, and that will be a loss on the play. Dylan Smith, the senior linebacker, among those in on the stop, and Ty G. Hill also in there as well. So it's fourth down and 17 back at, or check it, 4th and 15. They'll move the ball back up to the 37-yard line now. So not a lot doing for Helen Cox in the first series. Did get 1 first down thanks to the penalty. Punt will be away. And see if they get a friendly roll here. They get a nice bounce. And it will be down. That's a pretty acrobatic play by the Helen Cox coverage man there. A little pirouette to avoid getting hit with the football, maybe get another 5 or so yards out of it, but I think they're going to mark it back at the 30-yard line. So maybe he didn't get out of the way.
Nice net punt by Cox. And now
33, I think, there.
Around that, yep. Now Karr's going to have to go 70. They got a friendly bounce. Of course, what they needed to happen is for it to get a friendlier bounce and touch a yellow jersey and fall on it and have their best field position and maybe their only legit shot to score.
Right. They have not run a play on the Karr side of the 50 this evening.
All right, Karr, first possession of the second half, first down and 10.
Give it away on first down, and that will be Kevin Maroney on the carry. Saw a lot of, it's Leonte Richardson, the senior. Saw a lot of Maroney on that goal line series, and he could not get in.
3 plays in a row on inside zone. Couldn't bang it in from the 2. Great defensive stand by Cox.
So 2nd and 6 ball at the 34-yard line. Give it away once again, and first down and more. And staying on his feet is Richardson, bouncing it outside and run out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. A gain of 26, and best play we've seen tonight from either team, Eric.
Inside zone. Shocking that they run inside zone again. Big gainer. Actually, it ran power there. Backside guard pulled, run power. Change it up a little bit. Trick play, so to speak, for Karr running power after so many inside zones.
First down. One thing and if Bryce Brown challenges offensive line, one thing I would say at this point, Eric, look how they are just exploding off the football right here early on in this third quarter.
I think the staff really got after Karr at halftime and challenged him when they got the football. Come out and play fast, up-tempo, and blow Cox off the football up front. Reset the line of scrimmage.
That'll get a couple.
Really pleased to see the effort that Cox is playing with on defense. They have some really good players on that side of the football. Starks, Burrow, and Johnson.
3rd down and 2, a little option pitch here near side, getting the edge and then some. That's Maroney, and he is down the sideline. Touchdown. 32 yards on the run by Maroney.
Speed option play.
Haven't seen that all night.
Second time I believe they run speed option tonight. Attack the end, pitch off the end, and took the quarterback, easy read.
5
Maroney touchdown.
5 plays, 70 yards, all on the ground right there. Karr had 83 yards at halftime. They got 70 on that series.
Wake-up call at halftime delivered by the staff for sure.
Kick is on the way and no good. So it is 13-0 here with 6:04 left in the third quarter of play.
The only thing Karr has done incorrect so far is miss the extra point.
Yeah.
That was a 33-yard touchdown run by number 1, Kevin Maroney.
So a good opening drive here. Karr scoring on the first series of the game, the first series of the second half. As a coach, that's one of the things you really want to do. You want to see your team execute right out of the locker room, right out of halftime. You feel like whether you're scripting or whatever the case may be, it's those are the times that you want to be able to go out and execute at your best.
No question, the first drive of the game, 54-yard drive on offense, go right to the opening script. And sometimes as offensive play callers, we get away from the script and try and reinvent the wheel. And you need to go back to that script. But it's really what they've been preaching all year. Work fast and be efficient.
This will be taken in at about the 10-yard line. Coming this way and brought down at about the 20-yard line. That was Vontae Chapman, the junior running back, on the return. Brought down by, I believe that was Burns, 35 on the stop. The senior DB.
Great coverage play.
So Helen Cox will start this drive at the 20-yard line.
I'm sure Karr defensive coordinator Taurus Howard challenges guys to get after him and keep them in the negative.
They've been
keep them in the negative. That's your goal. I'm sure that's what Coach Howard, knowing him, that's what he's preaching to his Cougar defense here, the yellow-cladded bunch.
Pass coming on first down, far side. It's going to be caught, but getting away and actually getting about 5 or 6 yards on that first down play. Nicely done. That was Eric St. Romain, the junior, the leading receiver on this Helen Cox team, and 5 touchdown receptions on the year. Looked like that was going to go for about a 3-yard loss. Instead, he turned it into a 5-yard gain, and it's 2nd down and 5.
Great job on the now screen by St. Romain to make players miss and then get downhill and get upfield.
So you got Fields operating at quarterback. He's one of those athlete types listed as a wide receiver / quarterback on the Cox roster. Will keep it, get about a yard, maybe not even that. Maybe give him a yard. It's going to be 3rd down, a little less than 5 coming up for Helen Cox as they look to get a first down, should you say, of their own volition right here. They've got 2 on the night.
Instead of by
come on Karr penalties.
That 4-yard gainer on first down was maybe their longest gain of the night.
I think they may have had one play that went for 9 or 10 yards on one of those 3rd and forevers that kind of
the quarterback scramble and slide and get down over here.
That's about
in front of the Karr
that's about
bench.
it. That's about it. Karr showing a single high look. 3rd down. Quarterback will jump pass there, and that is it intercepted? Or just maybe, no, just it's incomplete, I believe.
Karr in the single high look, as you mentioned, playing man free, matching up with the 4 receivers, playing a single high safety.
It's like Cox is going to send its punting unit on here on 4th down and 5.
Looking at the instant replay, definitely trapped it. Hey, you got to come up there and sell it.
Sell the catch right away.
5 weeks from now in the Superdome with instant replay, that won't fly.
Oh, bobbled snap, nowhere to go, and now going to try and run for it, and still on his feet. He's going to get the first down and then some. Down the sidelines he goes to the 45-yard line of Edna Karr. How about that?
Jeremy Williams found his way out of trouble a number of times. Incredible, making something happen off of the bad snap. He went backwards, which I thought was going to be the death of him, put Karr at the 17, but great job by Williams showing some athleticism. Cox got away with a block in the back.
31 yards on the carry, and for the first time tonight, Cox is going to take a snap on the plus side of the 50.
Longest play from scrimmage for Cox.
So from the 44, quarterback will keep it on first down, and not much doing, but he'll fall forward for about 3. So tip of the cap to Fields here, as he has had to step into a spot where maybe he didn't think he was going to be playing tonight. He's been a receiver for much of the year. But
get comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's it. With the injury to Ruffin, he takes over at quarterback. At the 41. Try to get this to the outside. Will turn it up inside and get the first down. A nice run by Tyrone Wilson. Wilson, the leading rusher on this Cox team, came in with over 500 yards on the year. Put it at the 33-yard line. So now back-to-back first downs.
They got something
for the Helen
going
Cox
here, Lenny.
Cougars. Yeah, they're on the move. And look, a 13-0 game as we had late in the third quarter. Once again, Wilson on the carry. Didn't get much there.
Cox offensive line being dwarfed by the behemoths up front for Edna Karr.
And Cox has got some nice sized guys up front. 270, 270, 240, 250, 260. But you're right, those two big guys in the middle for Edna Karr. Rogers at 260, Hill at 275 are not only big, but incredibly athletic.
Those guys up front, all four of them, making life easy for linebackers and safeties to make plays in the box and downhill.
Bringing in an extra offensive lineman as a blocker here, and that is thrown far side. It well defended on that pass to St. Romain, and it'll be 3rd down and long.
Destin Refuge, nice play by the junior, 5'10", 155-pound defensive back. Open field tackle, one of the most underrated skills for a defender in football. It's a touchdown saving tackle every tackle you make.
Whistles and timeout called by Helen Cox, their first of the second half, with 50.2 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. This portion of tonight's game being presented by Riverlands Insurance, meeting all your insurance needs, and a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. Just opening new headquarters over in St. Rose, just west of the former terminal for Armstrong International Airport. I guess it is still west. Now it's more southwest than due west, but right off of Airline Drive there in St. Rose. Our thanks to Nolan Luke and Riverlands Insurance. So we come back here. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Helen Cox has put together their best drive of the night. Thought they were going 3 and out, and quite the play by their punter, Jeremy Williams, who also happens to be a defensive back, and just a great athlete play to escape a couple of tackles after a bad snap and turn it into a 31-yard run.
Back to game action, 3rd down.
And we got a little reverse action coming. One tackle escaped. Oh, and slipping down was Raekwon Starks, or else he might have had the first down there, Eric. He was trying to cut it back inside and lost his feet there at about the 30-yard line.
Inside reverse by Starks made 2 Karr Cougar defenders miss.
First look, you're looking at option, and then they come back the other way.
Raekwon Starks on that last.
Didn't have his chest over his knees and toes. If he does, he keeps his footing, and as you mentioned, probably has the first down. Now we're looking at 4th and 6. Looks like we will get another play in the 4th quarter.
Maybe so. Let's see. I don't know if we're going to have a play here, or they will get it off just before the quarter expires. Down the sidelines and intercepted. First turnover of the night goes via interception for the Karr Cougars, and that will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. On that 4th down play, the interception will put Karr at the 5-yard line, and we get set to start the 4th quarter. After 3, your score: Edna Karr 13, Helen Cox nothing. You're watching the Allstate Sugar Bowl LHSAA Thursday Night Football Game of the Week, a presentation of Crescent City Sports. As we get set to start the fourth quarter here, 12 more minutes of football from Berman Stadium on the West Bank. Lenny Van Gilder, Eric Held, Kate Adams with you. Final game of our 10-game series, the Allstate Sugar Bowl LHSAA Thursday night football game of the week. Final week of the regular season. This time next week, we will be into the playoffs. Karr after the interception, starting just outside the 5-yard line. Tried to run it on first down, and not much doing there, maybe about a yard or two.
Karr came out in 2-by-1 formation with split backs. First time we've seen that tonight. They'll get back into 10 personnel, get in a 3-by-1 formation.
Give it away and room to run. Trying to bounce it outside and getting past the 20-yard line. That was Leonte Richardson, and that will be a first down.
Power there by Karr. Something they've started to run a little bit more of is their power play. Go back to one-back power. Has been a good play for them here in the second half.
Give it away on first down, coming this way and trying to get outside is Maroney, and well defended there by the white-clad Cougars, and a gain of only about 3 yards, 2nd and 7. That could have been a lot more, but
with the exception of 2 drives tonight, the Helen Cox Cougars have played fairly well on defense. They're going to need to come up with a defensive scoop and score or interception return here.
Going to come off the edge, but Maroney stays on his feet and falls forward out to around the 30-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and about 2 coming up.
Karr going fast on offense. Put pressure on the Cox defense, but continue to go at their speed. Coach Bryce Brown's message and his staff's message all year has been to finish. They want to finish this drive and go 95.
3rd down and 3.
So from the 30, 3rd down 2. Kelly taking a shot downfield. That is caught. That is Darrell Hills, the senior. Gain of 46 yards out to the Helen Cox 24-yard line. And they'll go quickly once again. You get another look. Right on the money.
Tremendous throw and catch, dropping it right in the old basket. Garbage can drill there for Kelly. We had a vertical bubble combination. He opted to take the vertical. Can't throw it any better.
Chain still not set. That's the delay. Now they will wind it. Closing in on 9.5 minutes to play in this one. Give it away on first down to Richardson. They'll get right out to about the 19-yard line, and the Cougars back in the red zone.
Banging it in there on inside zone. You can bang it in there, bend it back, and cut it back, or you can bounce it. Very few times you see inside zone bounce outside. Many times you see it bend back and cut back.
1 second. And that is caught, and it's going to be first down and goal.
The old inside zone slant RPO combination for Karr.
But flags have been fewer here in the second half. Defensive holding is the call. It'll be declined. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
If you're the quarterback and you can ride that inside zone read real hard and sell it and get those linebackers to come up and play inside zone, that slant's going to be behind them. It's an easy throw.
In a simpler way, it's a lot of what LSU and Alabama will do on Saturday.
You'll see that a ton from Burrow and Tua.
High snap, but it's handled by Kelly. And what a play, and into the end zone, touchdown.
Great players find ways.
Start with Kelly by handling the snap right here. Watch as you get another look.
No panic, be an athlete, and then just flip it out there.
That was
to
Richardson. Yep.
Let him make two guys miss. Be an athlete in space and go make the play. You're starting to see the real Karr offense here in the second half. One of the longest drives we've seen this year.
95 yards, and it looks like they may go for two here. Or do they? Oh, never mind. They waved that off here. We didn't see a signal, but they waved that off. It's a false start. So scratch that one from the books. It's 1st and goal at the 10-yard line. Now Richardson out in motion. Go that way again. And this is well defended by Helen Cox. It's going to be 2nd down and goal. Did not see a flag come in there, but
didn't see it. You see so much yellow tonight, jerseys and flags. The whole field looks yellow from our vantage point. Cox needs to make a stop here.
2nd and goal. Kelly throws, knocked away. And guess who? That was Raekwon Starks, the UTSA commit, getting a paw in there to break up what could have been a touchdown.
They've already had a 1 goal line stand already.
Trying to get another one here. If you're Karr in this situation, if you don't get it in here on 3rd down, do you elect to take the field goal, or does that do anything for you and then it's still a 2-score game?
Try and score the touchdown.
Flags before this one can get underway.
Because if you try a field goal, you could have an errant snap or hold and a scoop and score or a blocked field goal.
Sure.
Your best chances of converting, and if you want to even say play safe, if you will, is to run an offensive play.
False start again, and that's going to back up Karr even more.
What did Coach O say a few weeks ago when the Tigers were playing Florida? If it comes down to it on 4th down, are you going to go for it or kick a field goal? And Coach O said, who would you rather trust, 9 or York, the freshman kicker? Same thing here. You trust your quarterback here and your offensive playmakers over your kicker.
An experienced guy there, Kelly, going into the corner of the end zone, incomplete, and it's going to be 4th down. Well, now it's 4th and goal with the ball at the 16-yard line, but you bring up a point there, and that a lot of bad things can happen. Which, was it Woody Hayes' philosophy about the passing game? 3 things can happen in a passing game, and 2 of them are bad.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And nowadays you can add all kinds of different things negative besides incomplete or interception. No. Sack, fumble, penalty.
So 4th and goal, the ball at the 16-yard line. Kelly with 1 setback will step up, look to go. He's got room to run. Can he get in? I think he's about a yard short, Eric. They're going to mark him down at the 1-foot line. So a 2nd consecutive goal line stand, or not consecutive, 2nd stand tonight for the Cox Cougars. You had man coverage all the way around, and you thought Kelly had a chance to get there, Eric.
When you're in man coverage, everyone gets run off, and the middle of the field's usually open, as you saw there. Looking at instant replay, down inside the 1. Really close, but definitely down inside the 1. Rolled across the goal line. Another stop by Cox. One thing Coach Brown talked about is being efficient. And the Karr offense definitely hasn't been efficient tonight. They did drive.
They
96
drove
yards?
about 95 yards, I guess, from the 5 to the 1, yeah.
94
yards. But you got to be able to finish right there. And timeout is called here. Gives us a chance to remind you that we got more high school football for you here tomorrow night on Crescent City Sports. It's a District 9-5A matchup as the unbeaten Archbishop Rummel Raiders take on the Jesuit Blue Jays at Tad Gormley Stadium. Kickoff is at 7 live here at CrescentCitySports.com. I'll have the call along with the coach, Wade Kaiser. Knows a little bit about those programs. It seems like every year we manage to have Rummel and Jesuit here in Crescent City Sports, or our predecessors. Did a great one 2 years ago when they played at Yeoman Stadium. Rummel rallied from 2 scores down in the 4th quarter. A couple of touchdown passes to a guy you'll see a little bit on Saturday named Jamar Chase. Rummel pulled that one out. I believe it was 25-24 at the end.
Their top 4 receivers for LSU, Rummel, Destrehan, Parkway, up in Bossier, and Pine High School.
There you
Derek
go.
Dillon.
Trying to get to the edge. And a nice run. This might even be a first down. Let's see where they spot it. Might get out past the 10-yard line. Now, I believe that was Fields on a keeper there.
The one positive you can take from that, even though you don't punch it in and score, even though you should have, is that you completely flipped the field. And Cox has passed the 51 time, and it's going to be incredibly tough for him to go 99.
Yeah. Quarterback keeper once again, and room to run down the side. He will step out of bounds. It looks like a first down, or very close to a first down. 4 Fields, and that's basically kind of become their offense here, is Karr Fields trying to get to the perimeter.
The average starting field position, polar opposites for these teams. Cox starting at the -1 twice, both times after coming up with tremendous defensive stops.
The good news is they got the defensive stop. The bad news is they had to start deep in their own end.
With their 3rd quarterback.
So it is a first down. Ball at the 24-yard line. Fields will throw to try to set up that screen, but well defended right there by Edna Karr.
And this is a season where you could say what might have been.
For Helen
starting
Cox, no
quarterback
question
for
about
Cox, Jordan George, hurt in week 2. Keelan Burley out until 2 games ago. Their star wide receiver also hurt early in the year. Just been a tough go losing
your
the
coach
head
in
coach.
the summer. I mean, there's so many things. You're right, and it's. Oh, you don't forget. You know, we talk about this, but this is 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. You get hit with too much adversity. Everybody doesn't respond the same. That pass thrown far side, incomplete.
Good no call by the official.
And it's going to be 3rd and long.
Coach Davis praised his young men's resiliency during these trying times. Again, life lessons you learn by playing athletics.
Yeah. You get another look at that one there, you're right. Just incidental contact.
Great job showing some restraint there by the official. I like that. Just because it looks bad sometimes doesn't mean it was a penalty.
Right. And whistles will stop this one. Well, let's see what the call is. Do we get a timeout, perhaps? I don't know. The officials are talking about it. I'm not sure what we have here. Looks like they're trying to signal up this way in terms of maybe the play clock, or maybe it's the game clock. I'm not sure. I think they may be putting some more time on the clock, maybe 4, 5, 6. So we're going to add 24 seconds to the game clock, put 4:56 on it. The last play.
Lots of laundry thrown on the Cox offense in the first half. Legal procedure. 12 men in the huddle one time. Blocking the back. A couple of holds. Second half, much less laundry on both sides. I think there were 14 penalties in the first half. This time, if they can throw a flag, it may be on someone not on the playing field.
You see the clock on your screen there sitting at 0 right now. As they try to get it apparently to 4:56, but they're having issues getting the clock reset. Now it's there. Okay.
All right, game clock is now at 4 minutes, 56 seconds. And back to game action, 3rd down and 12. The baby makes some noise.
And you hope in the quarters or the semis here that there's a real official on the clock.
Yeah, it'll be a neutral official at that point. Yeah. And a nice run on 3rd down and 12, but it's going to be about a yard or two short of a first down by Karr Fields on the quarterback run. Well, I'm watching the spot from the near side. Did he get it? He looked like he was about a yard short, but I'm looking at the linesman come in from the near side here. And maybe they're going to measure here. Let's see.
Looks like on the replay he was a foot or two short. And it looks like that's how they have it marked as well. It looks like they have it about a foot short, 2 foot short.
Chains will come out.
Wow. First down.
I thought it was short initially when I saw the play live, and then once the spot happened, it felt like it was going to be close. And indeed he got it. Ball touching the 34-yard line. So a big 3rd down conversion right there on the legs of Karr Fields, who's hasn't put any points on the board, but has definitely lit a fire into this Helen Cox offense here in the second half with his legs. And again, keep it on 1st down around left end. He'll be run out of bounds after a gain of about 4 or 5.
Definitely a more explosive looking Fields here in the second half. I think once he's got into the flow of the game, the speed of the game, he's become more explosive, become more comfortable. Big key there is stopping the clock. A nice gain, winning 1st down with a 4-yarder, and stopping the clock. They're going to have to put the ball in the air at some point.
And we've got a penalty at the end of the play against Karr, so they're going to add on yardage here. Put the ball now at the Karr 47-yard line. So then see if it was a personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct, exactly what happened there. But put it at the 47 of Edna Karr, and another Helen Cox 1st down.
Yeah, personal foul on Karr. One of the preferred 1st down methods by the Cox Cougar offense via penalty.
Karr's going to call timeout here.
I think they had 10 men on the field.
Indeed, you're right. So let's look ahead a little bit to Sunday, Eric, as they'll talk about this one here. As a coach, what are you waiting to see on Sunday morning when you see those final power ratings come out, the final bracket comes out, and you're set. What are the things that you look for as someone who has been a head coach and assistant coach along the way here?
Going into it, week 10, you kind of know if you win or if you lose, where you're going to fall based on projections throughout your class. So you have an idea of where you may fall depending on what happens with you. If you're playing a team that you should beat, you kind of have an idea where you're going to fall. And then you have an idea of what 2, 3, maybe 6 games really have an outcome on where you're going to sit on the bracket. So you have an idea. And then usually late Friday night, if there are no games on Saturday to be decided, you have an idea, and then you can start talking with the opposing coach about film exchange and start working as a staff from home looking at huddle on Saturday.
Shot downfield, and that is incomplete. Very nearly a big-time catch right there. And that was another one of those guys playing on both sides tonight. That was Kendarius Moore.
Nice job of the corner for Karr, leveraging more to the boundary. Great technique play, something you work at in drills every day. But it's always an exciting time when you get down to week 10. You know it's going to be the playoffs. Of course, you have to play the game first. And then you let the chips fall where they may, but you have an idea of who you're going to play, and you've already begun with your film exchanges via huddle.
On 2nd and 10, just Fields looking to get to the outside. And give the Karr defense a lot of credit right there for realizing not only what was coming there, but keeping him in bounds. And right now, I mean, you're playing an opponent, but you're playing the clock. You're trying to get the last 4 minutes off the clock here with a 13-point lead if you're Bryce Brown and the Karr Cougars.
You want to get out of here, keep them in bounds, and get out of here with your opponent running as few offensive plays as possible, of course.
On 3rd and 9. Still on his feet, but finally brought down in the backfield is Karr Fields, and it'll be 4th down.
Karr playing quarter coverage, staying over the top. Here comes, looked like there was going to be a personal foul call on Cox. The official decided to keep his flag in his pocket.
So on 4th down, I believe Cox called timeout here to talk about a 4th down play coming up. 4th down and about 14 to go. The line to make is the 37-yard line. Don't put a lot of 4th and 14 plays on your call sheet ordinarily, but the most effective play tonight for Helen Cox was that bizarre punt situation where at a drop snap, punter ran around, broke a couple of tackles, broke free, and got a 31-yard gain on the play.
Largest gainer tonight.
It was nearly for either team. Then Karr popped the long pass down the near sideline. I believe that went for 44 yards.
One of the things coaches will do, Lenny, is once Friday night comes to a close and all the games are in, of course, St. Augustine and Holy Cross play Saturday afternoon.
And let's bring up a point here. That doesn't just affect Division I, obviously. There's the trickle-down effect of everybody they've played, and they touch every one of those, power points. So it can affect 3A, 4A, 5A, Division II, because Holy Cross played St. Thomas more, so it's going to have an impact down the line. Fields will throw on 4th and 14. Had a man open there for a minute. He had Raekwon Starks coming clear on a wheel route, but incomplete, and Cox will take over on downs with 3:14 to play.
Wheel route out of the backfield to arguably your best player, Raekwon Starks. If he can drop it in the hole there and then make the Karr defender miss, nice opportunity for a 1st down. Pass falls incomplete. You mentioned that game on Saturday doesn't just affect who will be the 7 or 8 seed in Division I, but the trickle-down effect. And that's the exciting thing about the PowerPoints. Everybody's watching. Everybody's a mathematician at this time of year.
Coaches didn't realize there was going to be this much math when they got into it, I'm sure. The first down carry will get about 6.
Somewhere I bet Coach Brian Lazar is working PowerPoints as he used to for the Times-Picayune every Monday of Week 10. And as a kid and as a coach, I waited for that day to see if he would give the team you're coaching for a chance at getting in.
2nd and 4 from the 43. Going to go near side here. And not much room to run, as that was Mr. Simmons on the catch. May have gotten a yard. It's going to be no gain. 3rd down and 4. Line to make the 39-yard line. And I believe Helen Cox is out of timeouts here, so that a 1st down here, and that would do it. Kelly will give it away on 3rd and 4. Room to run, 1st down. Maroney, I believe that was on the carry there.
And with no timeouts remaining, that'll do it.
Now you wind the clock, and let's see what they do here. Now they're going to huddle up. And I think at this point, do you just take a couple of knees and go home, or do you try to do some things on offense just to kind of, work on some things in the last couple of plays you have in this situation?
I think they'll try and give sophomore running back Jaywin Newman a couple inside zone carries. And if they happen to score, it's not running up the score. Just make a tackle.
That's Newman on the carry, indeed. It was Newman on the previous play. My mistake. If you can imagine, you're seeing it on your screen there, but you look at it on that wider shot, trying to read white numbers on gold uniforms can be a bit of a task for these bespectacled eyes.
Some wizardry that goes into this. Mm-hmm. One other thing, as a coach, on Saturday, the day before the official pairings come out, you're starting to call opposing coaches of teams that teams that you may play in the playoffs. Try and start building your game plan, looking at personnel for the other team.
Yeah. That was Newman on the carry on what may be the final play of this game.
And let's give it up for your Karr Cougars.
Bryce Brown is going to start making his way down. That is going to indeed do it, as the final 15 seconds will run off the clock, and Edna Karr will close out what hasn't exactly been a pretty Week 10 victory, 13-0, but I think you'd say that on the offensive end. Bryce Brown's got to be pleased with what his defense was able to do tonight against this Helen Cox team.
Anytime you pitch a shutout, that's a great thing for your defense, a great thing for your program moving forward, something to build off of. Go back at the film, and tomorrow after school or in your PE class, get your guys together and look at that film and make your corrections, and there's going to be a lot to correct, but I think a lot of it had to do with guys going in not expecting too much fight from the Cox Cougars, but you saw a lot of resiliency, you saw effort out of Cox. They were just outmanned, especially up front on both sides of the ball. When Karr decided to play hard, there was a big difference there. But proud of the effort by Cox. And if you're Coach Bryce Brown for Karr, you're 7-2 now. As I mentioned before, make corrections tomorrow, and then enjoy Saturday and Sunday. Looking forward to Monday in a first-round playoff opponent and preparation.
Well, this is Week 10 for us in the final game of the Allstate Sugar Bowl LHSAA Thursday Night Football Game of the Week. We got to thank an awful lot of people from your boss at the LHSAA, Eddie Bonine, to everyone, the LHSAA staff, of course yourself and Kate, everybody who has helped us produce it along the way. My colleagues at Crescent City Sports, Ken Trahan and June Young, Chip and Matt Merritt, our lead guys on our web production team, along with Todd Whittington here tonight. So many of the others across the state who has helped us bring these games to you. Eric, let's get the playoffs started, huh?
Let's get them started. Close to 30 games tonight on Thursday night, which gives those teams that are moving on in the playoffs an extra day of rest and relaxation. It's always good. I enjoyed it when you play on Thursday and you know you're going to advance, to get an extra day. Get home early on a Friday. Enjoy being home early. Spend time with your family. Become a regular person again, so to speak. Same thing on a Saturday, with a little bit of an eye towards your computer and your laptop and getting things set with your film. And then on Sunday, maybe bringing your team in, talking a little bit, getting some of the game plan out of the way, and then get going on Monday. But it's an exciting time for all involved in prep football throughout Louisiana. And 4 weeks from now, we'll crown 4 select state champions, and 5 weeks from now, we'll crown 5 champs in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome at the Prep Classic.
That'll be a lot of fun. Eric, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us all season long for the Allstate Sugar Bowl LHSAA Thursday Night Football Game of the Week. And remember, tune into Cox Sports Television Sunday at 11 a.m. for the official unveiling of all 9 brackets on the road to the championship. And check out the LHSAA Live app for all of the latest championship news in football, volleyball, swimming, cross country, spirit, and much more. Once again, your final score tonight, it was the Edna Karr Cougars 13, the Helen Cox Cougars nothing. For Eric Held, Kate Adams, and our entire Crescent City Sports production team, I'm Lenny Van Gilder. Thank you for joining us. We will see you with more football tomorrow night, Rummel and Jesuit from Tad Gormley. Until then, good night, everybody.